We're wrapping up today's episode on aging gracefully. We've covered a lot already, but I want to shift gears a bit in the last segment and talk about the opportunity we have as we age to connect more deeply with ourselves and the people in our lives. Okay, so rather than allowing external influences define beauty and impact how you see yourself, how do you define it for yourself?
That is such a great question. And I think that it'll be different for different women. Obviously, we're all different. For me,
Mm,
one of the things that I focus on is what do I value? So the
okay.
values that I have in my life are going to have helped me define how I feel about myself and how I want to present myself, how I want to age. So it's
Mm,
still important to me to be like a positive energy and to put out something positive to give back. So, I reflect that in the colors that I choose or the whimsical things that I add to a wardrobe, right? So there's yeah, it's going to be different for different women, but I think it's important to focus on what it is that you value. So, one decision that I made a couple years ago, being somebody who always dyed my hair a much lighter blonde for a really, really long time, I got to a point where I realized I needed to decide, do I want to have healthy hair when I get older? Or do I want to have blonder hair? Because my hair at some point is going to reach a threshold with the bleaching and say, okay,
right.
I've had enough. And it's not going to necessarily appear as healthy.
Mm.
So I decided I value the health of my hair. So this is my natural color, and there's whites
And it
in
looks
there.
great.
And we're just going to let them come out and sing.
There you go. So, a lot of us associate age with the concept of legacy or focus on what outlasts us, a strong contrast from the fleeting cultural focus on appearance. But what kind of legacy do you strive to leave and how do you walk that out?
Hmm. I think it's important to continue to live from a place of purpose. So,
Mm,
understanding that, you're created for a purpose. I believe we're here for a purpose. My purpose doesn't end. I don't have an expiry date until I
mhm.
pass away, right? So, as long as I'm here on this earth, I have a purpose. And knowing that helps me to not get too consumed with myself
Mm,
and look more outwards. And I think that that's one of the recipes or one of the remedies for becoming too consumed with what we look like is there's too much focus. We put too much focus on ourselves. So to live from a place of purpose. So when I retired, I had to redefine my purpose
right.
because I was no longer doing the things that I was doing before. So
It's
that's
interesting you say
important.
that because that is one of the key things that they talk about in the blue zone. People that live up to 100 or so is that they
Right.
have a sense of purpose. And here you're talking about that is so important. So, how can older women serve as mentors or anchors for younger generations?
Right. So, my opinion on that is I think it's important that we're honest with the
Mm,
younger generation. I think that we have, unfortunately, we're fed so many lies now that we're kind of living in this alternate reality. And even
yeah,
like social media is showing us an alter reality.
it is.
AI is showing us an alter reality.
Mm,
People are having procedures done, and there's not a reality to that. So, I think it's
mhm.
important to be real about what you're experiencing, what you may go through, and have honest, real dialogues and just be in it, be in it with a younger person because we've been, I've been there before. So I know what it's like to go from my face. I mean, the other day I was in front of the mirror and I pushed my skin back and I went, oh, I recognized her.
I know,
I remember her
right?
from 20 years ago.
I
But
know.
the reality is that's not me
Oh,
now.
oh, I
Right?
know.
So
Yep.
we need to just be real with one another and
Yeah.
encourage younger women to embrace the beauty that they have and to teach them and help them to see that they're good enough. That they don't need to do anything else. Sure, choose
Right.
clothing that
Right.
speaks to you. Fit clothing well to your body. Choose a hairstyle
Right.
that makes you happy. If you like makeup, wear makeup. I
Right.
love red nails, so that's one of my signature things. You can do those things, but we don't need to
Absolutely.
cut and paste ourselves in
Yep.
order to feel whole.
I think those are great. Char, you are such a delight. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights on the show.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Stoutland, and until next time, take care of yourself.